Welcome back to Rounding the Bases Extra Innings. Joel Goldberg along with Deb Krier. Check us out wherever you get your audio podcasts and really good, engaging 30-plus minute conversation with Deb about her battle with cancer, about her long career, about her podcast. But let's start with this because I think the most interesting thing that you said, which I knew about, so I was going to ask you if you didn't bring it up, was the Beagles and dog shows and being on a board. How in the world did you how in the world does one get there?
I married into it. It was one of these things, never had a dog growing up. In fact, I saw dogs go through crowds twice and bite my father. And so we never had a dog, but I married this gentleman, still married to him, almost 30 years, who had show beagles and thought this is the weirdest thing in the world. This is just, it was so strange, but it's also so much fun, and I've made such great friends and absolutely love it. Being on the board is very different, because it helps us to ensure that the breed goes forward. We do several different things. Beagles obviously hunt. I mean, that's what they were bred to do. They are also the pretty dogs, the show dogs. Westminster Kennel Club, we've had 2 beagles who have won, and then we also, beagles are very good at the performance events. So agility, obedience, rally, scent work, obviously scent work. But yeah, I mean, it's just so much fun, but it is a very weird world.
I like watching those. I don't understand anything about the dog shows, but I'll turn it in every now and then because I'm a dog lover,
Mhm.
and we've got 2 dogs. We've been a 2-dog family pretty much for a long time now. Once we got that second, and then every time that we've lost one as they've gotten older, we get
Mhm.
the new one, and it's just that's our world. But in terms of dog shows, to me, it's all about Best in Show, which is
Mhm.
one of I think one of the funniest movies
Oh, uh-huh.
ever
Mhm.
made. I mean, anything Christopher Guest has done, and,
Mhm.
and those kind of mockumentaries are hysterical. How close are they to getting some of that?
They were very close. When they were researching it, and as you said, it's a mockumentary, but they do their research with their projects, and so they went to shows, and the really funny thing was we could pick out who they had modeled some of their characters after, and that was
Wow.
just the funniest thing in the world. To go, oh yeah, that's so and so. But yeah, the weird thing was they were really pretty close in many instances.
I don't know why I think you'll get this. That makes me really happy because so often the movies really aren't that accurate,
Mhm,
and yet something that was meant to make you laugh so much that
mhm,
they did that kind of research and that it gets it right
mhm.
is, and sometimes it's nice to
Right.
escape. But I mean, I can
Mhm,
watch those movies over and over
mhm,
again and just keep laughing and laughing. I remember as a kid, we had a rare breed of a dog. It was called the breed was called Sealyham Terrier.
uh-huh,
They're
mhm,
kind of look a little bit like West Highland Terriers.
right, mhm,
Ears are different, same size. I
mhm,
think we got it because they didn't shed, and
mhm,
my
yeah,
mom, something like that. And those were show dogs. I mean, we weren't
mhm,
showing ours, but I remember the breeder that we got it from showed dogs, and I just remember as a kid going to see it once,
mhm.
and within like a matter of 5 seconds, I know this is probably not unusual at all, watching her comb the dog's hair and then turn and comb her hair with the same comb, and we were like, oh my
Ew.
gosh.
Mhm, mhm,
Ew.
yeah, mhm, yeah,
But yet I don't think I want that to be any other way. That's exactly, I feel like, the way that world should be, and you
mhm,
know it a lot better than me, but I could sit there and watch that stuff.
mhm.
It's pretty cool. So
Well, and, yes, our dogs are show dogs, but first and foremost, they're our pets.
that's right.
And we love them dearly and have so much fun with them, and that's, of course, the important thing,
Yeah.
is that these dogs are beloved pets.
Yeah. 100%. All right. Second question as we round the bases. I I was telling you before that I was going to have to ask you about such a rough thing, about your beloved Colorado Buffaloes. You got
Woo!
all your Colorado roots. I know you've been in Atlanta for
Mhm.
quite a long time now, but I don't. I mean, not that I'm talking to every Buffalo fan, but you are all in on Coach Prime. Tell me about
Mhm.
that, and still your love of. I mean, this is something you guys do. This is not
Mhm.
something you're just watching from a
Right.
distance.
Oh, yeah. So both my husband and I went to the University of Colorado, a while ago. We won't say when,
Yeah, a few
but
years
we've
ago.
been season ticket holders for a very long time, and we still have our season tickets. We've been here in Atlanta since 2012 and still have them. We try and make it back for a couple games every year. it's different down here. I mean, Georgia is the mecca for college sports, and hello, there is that UGA team that's won twice in a row, and but it's so much fun to see the program now, and to see how it is being energized. I mean, we were talking before the show that Coach Prime, Dion is the master at marketing, which is great because that's what is needed in this day and age. I mean, he's got YouTube, he's got all these things which speaks to those kids. And so we're so looking forward to it. Renewed our tickets already. The games we can't go to, we already have a wait list for to
Wow.
take the tickets. But yeah, it's so much fun. And we do watch parties here in Atlanta. I know this is going to just absolutely surprise you. I am the chapter leader of the Alumni Foundation here. And, and so, it's a little bit of a challenge when I call and say, hey, we need a room. They say, you understand Georgia's playing at the same time. I'm like, but, or Tennessee or Clemson or Bama or, all of those.
Anyone else in the SEC.
Right. But yeah, I mean, he definitely brought the prime time to Colorado, and it's going to be so much fun to see what he does with it, because I've been so impressed with how focused he is on the student part of student athlete. And he has said things like, there will be a dress code. You will sit in the front row of your classes. I will know what the GPA is of every single one of my players. He's going to crack the whip, and I think it's going to be very interesting.
All right, so let's go there with the third question then as we round the bases, because I think, and we talked about this a little bit in the audio version of the podcast, that some things never change. And then on the other side, life evolves. And so, the ability to have discipline, the ability to put in the hard work, whether it's sports, business, life, that's always been true. Dion's an old school guy. And so when you talk about that discipline sitting in the front row, that's old school.
Right.
And nowadays, this generation, they've grown up differently than we grew up, and add in a pandemic, and they're completely different, and the mental health and all of that. So here's Dion with what sounds like some tough love, yet he has completely embraced and mastered the way to market in 2023. And I'm guessing you've got a pretty good grasp of that as well from your business. How critical is that? You don't have to be in marketing, by the way, either, but how critical is that to be able to embrace wherever things are going right now? Because it feels like from a technology standpoint and an expectation standpoint with that younger generation, things are moving fast.
They're moving so fast that sometimes I think I need a seatbelt. But I tell people, you need to do what you do to reach the people you're trying to reach. You're not trying to reach everybody. Dion's market is not the entire world. College football is not the entire world. Who I try to reach with my business is not the entire world. And so you need to use whatever that tech is to reach those right people. I'm not on TikTok. I just, like, within a month, started an Instagram account. And so it's, you need to do what you need to do to reach the people you need to reach. And don't worry about everybody else.
Yeah, and I don't think if you're older, you don't need to be a master of Instagram. But guess what? It might be a way to communicate with the younger generation. Not might be, it is. And if you're younger and you're willing to listen to some of us older folks, maybe an email or a text message every now and then apps actually work, even if it's not as appealing to the eye or whatever. I mean, there are a million directions we can go in this, but I will wrap it up with the battle and the journey that you have had in terms of fighting cancer, and just over and over and over again, and doing it with energy and positivity. 2015, we talked about stage 4 triple positive breast cancer diagnosis. Two-part question to wrap things up for my walk-off here. One, I was reading that you have different names for various breast prosthetics, and I'm wondering if you could expand. I'm guessing that has a little something to do about your unique sense of humor. And then the second piece to that, everybody's different the way they're going to fight these battles, but I'm wondering what words of encouragement you could give to not just women out there here in Women's Appreciation Month, but anyone that's battling something.
Right. Yeah, like you said, I have this kind of off the wall sense of humor. I did have a double mastectomy, decided not to have reconstructive surgery. And so you get prosthetics. Clothes fit better, all sorts of things. So, I have to name them. They're not just Blob 1 and Blob 2, and so I have Lucy and Ethel, Thelma and Louise. I mean, it has to be female names. And so but that's part of this is you have to have quasi appropriate humor. There are
Maybe,
some
maybe.
people, yeah, they're like, oh, but I also tell people, when they say, how am I doing? I say, well, I'm not looking up at 6 feet of dirt. And,
It's true.
but that, for those who are going through this, remember that you're not alone. You can reach out to others, and you can defeat this, whether it's a day, whether it's, 10 years, 20 years, by remembering that you have to live your life. Maybe it's something little, maybe it is that you watch I Love Lucy on TV and you giggle for a little bit. But you can get through this in the way that you're supposed to get through it, just by living and continuing to live your life as you travel through the journey.
And on that note, I can't think of a better way to end it. Again, debkrier.com, Krier, or trying not to die.live. A lot of inspiration there. Again, check out the audio version of the podcast. Check out everything Deb is doing as well as her podcast. It'll all be in the show notes. Deb, thanks again for spending time.
Thank you so much. I've been honored, and it's been such fun.